Good morning. Welcome to Christy's Creative Crew. Good morning. I'm so happy you could join me today. This is actually my very first video of showing you how I put a card together, and I hope you will like it. Today we are going to be doing a shaker card. Here's one that I've done, and here is the second one that I've done. You see that? Isn't that pretty? So what you're going to need for this card is some designer paper. Now I chose to use the Woven Threads designer paper. So here are our colors. Our prints, I should say. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the 6th color is this print here and this print here. They are all gorgeous, and I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. So what I did is I went to the back of my designer series paper, and here it tells you right under, I can read that, right under where it says Woven Threads designer series paper, it tells you all the different colors that coordinate with this. So this one is Pretty Peacock, Purple Posy, Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, Seaside Spray, and then the 2 neutral colors are Sahara Sand and Whisper White. I went ahead and cut out bases in all the different colors and an oval frame. There's 4, and the 5th one is the Seaside Spray that we're going to be using today. Isn't that pretty? That ends up being my favorite one of the bunch, but then again, I love them all, so I guess today's my favorite. And then the 2 neutral colors that coordinate with it are the Whisper White and the Sahara Sand. So I laid those all out. I played with the coloring of the papers, and so for today I decided we're going to try this design on the Seaside Spray. So you're going to need your card base, which measures 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. You're going to need an extra piece of that same color, or you could mix and match. That's what we're using, that same color, Seaside Spray. That's just a scrap piece of paper. A piece of Whisper White that measures 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of your card. Another piece of Whisper White that measures 3 by 5. And a piece of window sheet. You see that? That's 3 by 4. I'm sorry, the Whisper White. Did I say 3 by 5? It's 3 by 4. 3 by 4. They're both 3 by 4. And then you're going to need some of our foam strips. I'm going to use those. And what we're using is the Heirloom Frames dies with the Heirloom embossing folders. Now these are our 3D folders. With our 3D folders, they're a little bit thinner than our dynamic folders, so they've come out with the 3D embossing folder plate, item number 149658. This is only $10, and it is not in any publication of our catalogs. So I need to get that information out to you that you're going to need that for the 3D folders. They're fabulous. They work so wonderfully. And then the dies, rectangle and oval, the embossing folders coordinate with those as well. We're going to be using the oval today. I'll set that aside. And I want to show you how I cut my paper. Now you probably noticed in the catalog that there is no trimmer, no cutting, and there is no embossing machine like the Big Shot. But that is because Stampin' Up! Is coming out with a fabulous new design, and we know that because Stampin' Up! Is high quality. We know that they're going to come out with the best thing for us. Sometimes it's hard to wait, but in the meantime, I still have my trusty trimmer, and I have my trusty Big Shot, and they work just fine for now. Okay, so what I'm taking is my 6x6 designer paper, and I'm going to cut it down to 4. Now this designer paper does come in 12 by 12, but I had 6 by 6 pieces because I did a paper share and I had these left over. And then I'm gonna, so I cut that at 4, did you catch that? And then 5 1/4. Okay, now save these 2 pieces because we're gonna use them later. I'll set this aside. We can go ahead and attach this to our card front. Now I'm going to pull out my Big Shot, and this is my magnetic plate for the Big Shot. I have some copy paper shims in between, and then this is my self-healing mat that I mentioned in a previous video. I love doing that. It saves the life of my clear plates so that they can last longer. And we're gonna choose, let's see if we can see that. We'll choose the oval die, and then 1 clear plate to cut that out. It's being a little stubborn. I'm going to run that through one more time because I don't want to tear it. See if you can see what I'm doing. It's easy to line up. You just rest it on top of there and you can feel it fit in the grooves. See, so maybe that's a good oops, so that I can show you that sometimes that just happens and you can remedy it very easily. So we end up with, well, it's still kind of sticking, isn't it? Well, it'll work just perfectly fine. Oh, I still need my Big Shot, don't I? I'm just getting out of camera a little bit. Let me fix that. So set aside your oval. And now I'm going to bring in my Big Shot platform with my embossing folder. And I want to show you how I line that up. Open it up, and I'm going to place that on the inside. Now what I want to pay attention to is the inside of my oval. And I'm going to line that up just like that and close it, place it on my platform with my 3D embossing folder plate, and run that through. And one time through is plenty. And I'll set that aside. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so before I go any farther, what I like to do is I like to take my spritzer. I have it filled with champagne shimmer mist and some rubbing alcohol. It only takes a few drops depending on the concentration that you like. And I'm going to go off camera a little bit here and spray at arm's length to give this a little shimmer. Now chances are you can't really see how much shimmer that adds, but it really, really does. And I love doing that. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to pull out my 3 by 4 Whisper White paper. And I'm going to take my oval that I just cut out, place that on there, center that. Can you see it? Okay, so take your pencil and make a mark on the inside like that. Okay, so can you see that? Then we will put our greeting in there. The greeting I am using is the Happy Birthday from, let me pull that out for you. Here's a card. Here's a card. What a fun stamp set. It's got everything in there from It's All Messy, the hair, the house, the heart, life, to happy birthday, congratulations. It kind of touches on everything, even as some sympathy. So we're going to use the happy birthday, and then we're going to be using the I made you a card because you're worth it. I think that's a cheeky little saying, and I kind of like that. I think it'll be fun to send to somebody. So there is that. We'll close that up. Now we're going to come in with your foam strips. And we're going to go all the way around the outside of that pencil mark that I made. Hope you can see what I'm doing without my hands being in the way. Now you can see I got a little gap there. So you want to come in and fill that gap in, because otherwise your sequins are gonna fall out. And that would be messy to send to somebody. Okay, just like that. Now you're going to want to come in with your embossing buddy, and you're going to want to tap the inside of your tape. And even when I tap it, I think I got it good enough. There's still going to be some sequins that will stick to the side, and that's perfectly fine, but I don't want them all sticking to the side. So I want to take as much of that tacky away from the inside that I can. And the other thing I'm going to use my embossing buddy for, set that up here, is my window sheet. I'm just going to very gently swipe it on both sides. Now I need my tear-in tape. Which I forgot to pull out. That is this here. Here's our tear-in tape. I feel like you're getting off camera, and I'm just so new at this that I'm maybe not watching what I'm doing. So on the back side of your oval, you're just going to add some tear-in tape. That's okay that it wrinkles up like that, because you're going around corners. You don't have to tear it off at every little section. So it'll work just fine. I know it's called tear-in tape, but I use my scissors. All right, get that down good, and then peel it off. There we go. If your fingernails don't work well, you can use take a pick tool to help release that backing. Okay, so here is our window sheet. I'm going to attach my window sheet just like that. Now I can go in with my scissors. Can you see what I'm doing? Oh my goodness. And I'm going to snip the corners off so that they're not seen. All right. So now that I've got that all prepared, I'm going to come in with my sequins. These are our iridescent sequins. Aren't they pretty? They match the colors of my birds. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Here's some pool party birds. They also have some sequins that match the Woven Threads Designer Series paper, which are gorgeous, but I have not purchased those yet, so we're just going to go ahead and use these because they coordinate with my birds very nicely. Put a little scoop in there. Take off the backing. Don't forget that little section there. And now we're going to put our oval right on top there. Now you got to shape it. So depending on where you have your happy birthday, you don't want to put too much sequins because you want to be able to see your happy birthday. Now I'm going to come back in with my scissors, and I'm going to cut those corners off too. Get those out of the way. So now you're all ready to put that onto your card. And my card base, Okay, so now we're going to put this onto our card base that has the designer paper on it. And I'm going to use my Tombow glue. I love this glue. It works fabulously. And I'm just going to put some on the back there. And then I'll center that. Boy, I feel like you can't see what I'm doing. Center that on my card. Let it rest there for a bit. And I'm going to come in with my birds. Let's see. I think I was going to use these yellow birds. Look how cute that is. Do you remember when I showed you all the birds that I cut out from the designer paper? It's called Bird Ballad. That just shows that you can mix and match all the designer papers and all the colors, and they all just blend so well together. All right, so I can see where my birds are going to hit my frame. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little glue there. And place it. Okay, I don't want my leaves to go over top. I don't want the tail to go to the edge, otherwise it's not going to fit in my envelope very good. Okay, so if you want to, you know, some of these are kind of loose. So you can come in with your take a pick tool. You have one of these are great. And you're gonna grab some of your glue dots, and then I just kind of tuck it under like that. Oops. All right, seriously. There we go. And maybe one up here to hold that down. Maybe I'll put one under the, whoops, that one didn't stay. Place that down there, press down, there we go. And one under the branch down here. Okay, can you see that? Pretty. That went really quickly, didn't it? Now let's go to the inside of your card. Okay, remember I said don't throw these two pieces out that you cut off. I'm going to use this smallest piece here. Tape that onto, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to tape that onto the bottom there like that. Pull out my greeting. I made you a card because you're worth it. There we go. I think I even got it halfway straight. And we put that on our card. I only put tape on the top and the bottom, and that stems back from when I was giving cards to my mom, and she was the best card sender of all time, well before we ever heard of Stampin' Up! And she would want to use the card that I gave her for someone else. And so if I had only sticky on the top and on the bottom, it was easy for her to take that out, and I would give her extra pieces to put on the inside, and she could use it for a friend. Now that she's gone, it even means that much more to me. Now, this little piece here, what you're going to do with that? Well, you're going to pull out your envelope. Oh, I ran out of tape. Let's try that again. Here we go. Put some right there, and then I just use the back as my guide. Around the corners. Stampin' Up! Has such great envelopes. I just love them. I love the straighter edge versus the point. I love the rounded edges. So pretty, and coordinates very well with your card. Isn't that nice? Now if you wanted to take it a little step further, let's pull out one of the cards that I did earlier. This one here. Do you remember me showing you this one here? And then on the inside, I added another bird. So here's a tip. If you're doing that and you get a little bit too much glue and it's a little bit tacky and you shut your card, you don't want your card to stay shut for the person who's getting it. So go ahead and take your embossing buddy right here and just tap that on top of your image like that. And that will help to take away that tackiness so that it won't stick. You can do that for any time you have that. I use that a lot. So thank you so much. Here are the cards that I made again. This one we made today. This one I made the other day. I was kind of wishing that my happy birthday was down a little lower. And this one I made for the video, but then I messed up on the video and had it all in fast speed, so I couldn't use it. But that one, I liked that one as well with the terracotta tile. And then the first one that I made was this one. I forgot to put the white back here, the greeting. So that's fine, but it's different. And I also used Calypso Coral because I wanted to coordinate with the flowers, and yet the terracotta tile coordinates perfectly just as well. So those are the 4 cards that I made. I hope you like them, and I hope to see you back again soon. Have a great day.